welcome back to another edition of Tell Talk with Trish. This is the Christmas edition. All right, guys, so we're gonna just jump right into it. So we're back in St. Louis. We went to Holiday in the Park with the kids, and it was amazing. We had such a great time. There was so much fun to be had. It was really awesome. I really enjoyed it. We had so much fun. But I want to get into what this video is about today. So it's called Holiday in the Park, right? So we had Santa Clauses, snowmen, Christmas lights, or lights, I guess you want to call them, whatever kind of lights you want to call them. There were reindeers, there were presents, there were, the different shows, singing Christmas carols, and doing the actual show of Christmas Carol. And so I guess I know why, but it was weird that it was called Holiday in the Park versus Christmas in the Park, right? With all those things that are traditionally a part of Christmas. Well, I understand and I find out that Christmas is an or offensive or non-inclusive to say Christmas versus holiday. So a lot of people, because the month of December has a lot of holidays in it. It has Christmas, it has Hanukkah, it has Kwanzaa, any other holiday I don't know about. But anyway, people celebrate winter solstice, all of those things. So people feel like it's not inclusive to say Christmas in the park or Christmas break, because my kids celebrate when they go on from school, they go on winter break. But I found these things that like all of the holidays have changed. Like even Halloween, instead of saying Halloween, they say fall festival. Or during Easter time, they say they're going on, spring break, or they're having a spring fling for the party instead of an Easter party. And because it's non-inclusive, but it's also that people are saying these phrases are offensive to people. And I guess I'm one of those people that I'm not easily offended, but I'm also like, okay, fine, whatever. And I never want to offend people. I definitely want people to always feel comfortable, and I never want to offend anyone. But it's just kind of weird, I guess. Like, people will say happy holidays to me, but I'll say Merry Christmas back because I'm Christian. I celebrate Christmas. So I say Merry Christmas to people. And I don't want to offend anyone. If someone says Happy Kwanzaa to me, I'm going to be like, thanks, Happy Kwanzaa to you. Now, it's going to be kind of weird if someone says Happy Hanukkah to me, because obviously I'm not Jewish, but, whatever. But I wouldn't be offended. I guess that's the thing I'm trying to get to. So many people are offended all the time. It's so weird how people are always offended. And I guess this new culture, this new world that we live in, like, I get accused of not being woke enough because I celebrate Christmas, because I honor December 25th as the birth of my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. And a lot of people are like, well, that's not really when he was born, and, it's based on a pagan holiday, and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, yeah, I get all that, but that doesn't change my reasoning for still celebrating December 25th as the birth of Christ. And if people would just ask me instead of just, telling me what I am and who I am and what I am, I feel like things would be a lot better in the world. If people would actually have dialogue and actually ask people their thoughts instead of telling them who they are or what they are, I think the world would be a much better place. For instance, I think having dialogue with people will change, just the love and respect and kindness that people deserve. Even if we have different beliefs, even if we have different ideas, I think that people still should be treated with kindness and respect. For instance, I am very good friends with an atheist. He doesn't believe in God at all, but that doesn't keep us from being friends. Now, said atheist celebrates Christmas with his family. He and I have actually exchanged gifts. And so I asked the question to him directly, hey, you're an atheist. Why do you celebrate Christmas? And he gave me an answer. He said, this is why I celebrate Christmas. This is why I exchange gifts with you. This is why I do this. And his answer was like, oh, okay, that makes sense to me. Now, we have a totally different belief system, but we still get along because we treat each other with kindness and respect. And that makes a big difference. One of the other things, like, I'm a type of person that I sometimes I get accused of being offensive because I'm inquisitive. I have questions. And if you don't ask questions, how do you know what's offensive? So I feel like I have to be able to ask people in a safe space my questions. Now, as long as I'm not saying things that I know for absolute certainty are offensive, sometimes my questions might be invasive, and sometimes invasive and offensive kind of cross exchange. For example, I have someone who's an acquaintance who's transgender, and I had some questions. Like, I had some genuine questions, not general, genuine questions. And he had posted a status on Facebook, and he was saying, you know, like how people say offensive things and they ask offensive questions. And he was opening up for a safe space for people to be able to ask questions, and he would answer them. So people were asking questions like, what is a dead name? And, you know, some other questions. And now, I have never in my life felt, thought, or believed that I was born anything other than a woman. So that's not my portion. And I don't think anybody really in their heart can explain to you their thoughts or their beliefs that they were born another gender than what they were born. Because that's, to me, like trying to explain to somebody, trying to explain to a man childbirth. He will never understand. He will never get it. There's no way for me to explain it. That's a pain that I can't even explain. So I don't even try. I'm just like, look, it hurt. End the story. So I was like, in the comments, I have questions. I didn't ask my questions. In the comment, I said, I have questions. And he was like, oh Lord, to the DMs with you. Because he knows me. He knows my heart. So he knows I wasn't going to try to be offensive, but he knows my mind. He knows how inquisitive I am. And he knows that I might ask a question that might offend somebody else. And he knows that he's a safe space, but he was just like, I don't want to have to defend you to other people because you may ask a question that other people may deem offensive, right? So these are the questions that I asked. I was like, okay, I'm not going to even, you know, go into the whole feelings thing, you know, beliefs, thoughts thing. I have questions going from female to male. So let's start with these. So as a woman with these, I can almost understand getting these taken off, like for real. Especially like in the summertime when it's hot and it's sweaty up under there. Because I remember going to Disney and getting back to the hotel and it was just swamp water in my bra. I almost understand. But like once they're gone, like, do you feel different? Do you feel some type of way about them not being there? Because they've been there, you know, for however long you've had them. And, you know, just that whole process. But my real questions was actually for that region. Because, like, this is how my mind works. So I'm telling anybody right now, I wasn't trying to be offensive. I'm not trying to be offensive. This is just how my mind works. So once you've gone through the mental evaluation that you decided that this is definitely what you're doing, this is what you're going to go do, because you do have to do that. You do have to go through those evaluations or whatnot to do that. Do they send you a catalog like how I used to get the Sears and Montgomery Ward's wish list Christmas catalog every year? Do you like circle on the pages, like, you know, yeah, this one looks pretty good, or maybe this one, or you know this one but with this, you know, or do you go into the office and there's like display cases and there's like small, medium, large, grande? Do they like color code and do you do swatches like when you trying to match your foundation and concealer? Is there a price difference between small and grande? Like, does the Mighty Mouse and the Home Wrecker cost the same? Or is it like when you buy clothes and plus size is always like $2 to $5 more? Those are the kind of questions that I had. Like, honestly, those are real questions that I had in my mind. And he was so gracious enough to answer all of those questions after he stopped laughing. And then sent me a video of bottom surgery. Honey, that is not for the faint of heart. But it also made me have more questions. But because he had been so gracious, I was like, I ain't gonna ask no more questions. But I think that having open dialogue with people would change things. You know, all this cancel culture, people are getting canceled and, you know, like just written off like, oh, they don't even need to be famous anymore, or they don't need to have movies anymore, or music, or, you know, their YouTube channels or whatever, because they said or did something that was offensive that probably they didn't know was offensive. And they just didn't have a safe space to ask their questions or to talk about it before they said such thing. Or, you know, after they said it, maybe they said what they said not knowing that it was offensive, and they had to go back and apologize. Like, I didn't know that was offensive. Those people just, I think this whole cancel culture thing needs to stop. We need to be able to give people a little bit of mercy, a little bit of grace, let them know when something is offensive, and then give them the opportunity to apologize if it is offensive. Now, just gonna be honest, I might say something that people may deem offensive that I'm not gonna apologize for, because I meant what I said. And it may offend some people because we have different beliefs. As a Christian, I may say some things that may offend people because we have different beliefs. I have been said things too that because we have different beliefs, I was offended at that person, but I didn't think that person needed to be canceled. I was just like, you know, hey, that offended me, and this is why. And the person was like, oh, I could see why that offended you. I wasn't looking for an apology. I was explaining why it offended me. And I think sometimes that's all that needs to happen. People just need to be able to say, oh, okay, I see why that looked offensive, but this is why I stand by what I said. Or, you know, if it warrants it, I apologize for that. So anyway, I'm going to jump off of here, you guys. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Definitely put in the comments, what do you guys think of cancel culture? What do you guys think of this new world that we live in where everything is offensive? Let me know. And let me know if I said anything in this video that offended you. I may or may not apologize. So take care, and I hope all your travels are timeless.